Hey guys, Bernie here with a brand new video, and this is another episode of Tech News, the weekly video series on this channel where I give you the full rundown of some of the most important and trending tech news of the week, keeping you informed with what you need to know. So with that being said, let's get into the video. First up, let's talk about Ryzen 5. As the name suggests, Ryzen 5 sits between Ryzen 7, which was launched in March 2017, and Ryzen 3, which will be launched in the second quarter of 2017. As you may know, Ryzen 7 was recently released and all the specs and comparisons have gone out into the public domain. But with Ryzen 5, we have something that's a little bit different. The Ryzen 5 goes in direct competition against the Intel Core i5 chip in both price and performance. There are four main models of the Ryzen 5, and those are the 1600, 1600X, 1500X, and 1400. As for price, TDP, and CPU cores, I'll provide all that information on screen. But just let me talk a little bit about specs. The flagship $250 Ryzen 5 1600X offers 6 cores and 12 threads, a specification that will cost over $410 with Intel's Core i7 6800K. The Ryzen i5 1600X not only appeared to offer similar performance with the Intel CPU, but it beat the more expensive Core i7 7700K as well, even when the latter was overclocked to 5 GHz according to leaked performance numbers from news.xfastest.com in February. And it seems to me that Ryzen is going all out against Intel with the newest processors. They're powerful, cost-effective, and honestly some of the best chips that you can get on the market. I've got nothing against Intel, but Ryzen is seriously going all in. On to our next news bit, Xiaomi's Mi 6 is coming next week. It really seems to me like April is the month for top smartphone releases and announcements, and April is also the month for the Xiaomi Mi 6. The Xiaomi Mi 6 is now officially scheduled for an April 19th launch, and a premature benchmark run would appear to have provided an early indication of what to expect under its hood. A 5.1-inch 1080p doesn't immediately sound impressive, but the Snapdragon 835's 6GB of RAM and 120GB of built-in storage further down the spec sheet all point in a happy direction. There have been further leaks indicating a 5.7-inch Mi 6 Plus model in the works as well. On to other really cool tech news, it seems that Qualcomm is firing back at Apple and suing them. If I remember correctly, Apple went against Qualcomm earlier this year and kinda sued them. But this time the tables have turned and Qualcomm filed its answers and counterclaims to Apple's January lawsuit, filed in the Southern District of California. The company has 5 key complaints, including the claim that Apple deliberately did not use the full potential of Qualcomm chips in the iPhone 7 phones so that they wouldn't perform better than the modems provided by Intel. Qualcomm says that Apple chose not to utilize certain high-performance features of the Qualcomm chipsets for the iPhone 7, preventing consumers from enjoying the full extent of Qualcomm's innovation. And when Qualcomm iPhones supposedly outperformed Intel phones, Apple falsely claimed that there was no discernible difference between the two variants. The company also says that Apple prevented it from revealing to customers the extent to which iPhones with Qualcomm's chipsets outperforms iPhones with Intel's chipsets. As part of its 5 core arguments, Qualcomm says Apple threatened it to keep quiet about the differences between Intel and Qualcomm iPhones, preventing Qualcomm from making any public comparisons about the superior performance of the Qualcomm-powered iPhones. Other complaints in the countersuit include claims that Apple breached and mischaracterized agreements, and negotiations with Qualcomm encouraged attacks on the company in a number of markets by misspreading facts and making false statements, and interfered with Qualcomm's existing agreements with other companies. So there's a bit of a feud right here. Moving on, Cadillac takes aim at Tesla's Autopilot with hands-free Super Cruise technology, available this fall. Starting this fall, the new Cadillac CT6 sedan will be the first car from GM to include Super Cruise, a highly automated and hotly anticipated driving technology. With a combination of cameras, sensors, and mapping data, Super Cruise will allow drivers to take their hands off the wheel during highway driving. Cadillac says Super Cruise represents the industry's first true hands-free driving technology, a clear shot at Tesla and its semi-autonomous autopilot system. What Super Cruise won't allow though is for the driver to get in the backseat and watch the car drive itself. as some Tesla drivers did before the software was updated to require the driver's hands remain on the steering wheel. The CT6 comes with a driver-facing camera attached to the top of the steering column using infrared light to track head position and determine whether the driver is paying attention. If the driver's attention wanders, Super Cruise uses an escalating series of alerts to ensure the driver keeps his or her eyes on the road. And if you want to learn more about this, as usual, I'll leave a link down below that you can check out for more information. Next up, we have more news from Qualcomm. It really seems like Qualcomm is all over the place these days. BlackBerry is getting a huge refund from Qualcomm after a royalty dispute. Qualcomm has to return nearly $815 million to BlackBerry for royalties the Canadian smartphone maker overpaid between 2010 and 2015. The decision was made out of court as part of a binding arbitration agreement. Qualcomm says it disagrees with the decision, but the agreement is locked in and unable to be challenged. Interest and attorney fees will also be added to the total. The dispute was over royalties BlackBerry paid in advance to Qualcomm, seemingly for use of Qualcomm parts or patents in its smartphones. BlackBerry argued that there was supposed to be a cap on those royalty payments that did not get applied at the time, while Qualcomm argued that BlackBerry's payments were supposed to be non-refundable. While it's not clear exactly how the royalty deal was structured, the settlement seems to show Qualcomm getting it from yet another side in what's turning into a global fight against its patent business. Moving on, a new leak reveals the next Moto Z smartphone might have a dual-lens camera. Lenovo might be joining in on a dual-lens camera trend with the upcoming sequel to the Moto Z. A purported image from SlashLeak showing the phone reveals a slightly different external design than the original. There's now a larger fingerprint sensor like the Moto G5, and Lenovo's logo has been added to the side. The Motomod connectors are in the exact same place as last year, confirming the company's plan to make a snap-in modular accessories compatible between current and future Moto Z phones. Confirming the company's plan to make the snap-on modular accessories compatible between current and future Moto Z phones. Same goes for the camera, but this time there are clearly two lenses. The Moto Z remains an impressively thin phone, and the overall familiarity of this design extends to the display. It looks the same, so don't expect to see Moto Z follow LG and Samsung in shrinking down the top bezel and bottom chain. Interestingly, SlashLeak refers to this device as the Moto Z2 Force. Last time, the Force model was the thicker of the two with a shatterproof screen. Lenovo though hasn't yet announced the next generation Moto Z. The original phone launched last June, so you probably have to wait a few more weeks before finding out which approach the company has taken for its dual lens setup and everything else that's new. And finally for today, Microsoft has announced a hardware event for May 2nd in New York. Microsoft is planning to hold a special hardware and software event in New York City on May 2nd. After weeks of rumors over Microsoft's plans, the software maker started emailing out press invites yesterday. It's also possible Microsoft may take this opportunity to reveal the hardware design of its upcoming Xbox Project Scorpio, just ahead of its E3 event in June, or a successor to the Surface 3 which was designed with students in mind. Other rumors suggest Microsoft could opt to unveil its Windows 10 cloud operating system, an alternative to Chrome OS that runs universal Windows apps. ZDNet reported this week that Microsoft's event is codenamed Bespin, a fictional Star Wars planet that includes a cloud city. Sources also claim that this event will be focused on education, so expect to see any hardware or software be connected to how it can be used in schools. Thanks for watching this episode of Tech News. As usual, if you want to check out any of the news topics that I mentioned in this video, all links will be provided below, along with links to previous videos on this channel. Also, I want to mention that I've recently opened a Spreadshirt shop where you can get some cool tech geek merch that you'll probably like. Also, if you want to be notified about new uploads of video plans whenever they are released, you can easily do so by following this channel on Twitter, checking out my Patreon to get non-tech news videos early. So that's about it. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.